Despite being named after a classic Clint Eastwood Western, the most recent episode of Rick and Morty is a perfect parody of a totally different one. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the last installment of Sergio Leone's renowned Dollars trilogy, serves as the inspiration for the title of Rick and Morty Season 8, Episode 3, The Rick, the Mort, and the Ugly. In order to reach a fortune in Confederate gold before his two rivals do, Eastwood's character man with no name must race across the war-torn American frontier in the threequel. However, that plot is not parroted in the episode. Rather, the episode draws inspiration from another Eastwood Western classic. It depicts what happened to all of the surviving Ricks and Mortys who lost their homes when the transdimensional city-state was blown up and takes place after the Citadel was destroyed. The clones were left stranded in a lawless wasteland inside the Citadel's boundaries, with no original reality to return to. A charming tribute to one of Eastwood's greatest characters is Homesteader Rick, the Rick who is lured out of his tranquil retirement to resume his violent life. When our Rick and Morty arrive at the Citadel space at the start of The Rick, the Mort, and the Ugly, we see all the displaced Rick and Morty clones attempting to make ends meet after losing their home. Since the episode swiftly turns its attention to the clones, that is the last time we see our Rick and Morty until the very end. Although it's always a risk, this Rick and Morty episode is one of the few that concentrates on different Ricks and Mortys, and it turned out to be a fantastic little standalone tale. After the Citadel was destroyed, Homesteader Rick is attempting to live a quiet, charming life. However, he is compelled to return to his violent past in order to get revenge when a group of evil Ricks appear. The character of William Money from Eastwood's revisionist Western masterpiece Unforgiven is perfectly parodied here. Money, a well-known former gunfighter, is currently employed on a farm. He's pulled out of retirement and reluctantly takes up arms again to avenge a sex worker when she's attacked by a client. Episodes of Rick and Morty have frequently been named after well-known films since the show's inception. A play on Risky Business is called Rixie Business, a play on Midnight Run is called Morty Night Run, a play on Close Encounters of the Third Kind is called Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, and a play on Big Trouble in Little China is called Big Trouble in Little Sanchez. Because Unforgiven was already the name of an episode last season, The Rick, the Mort, and the Ugly is named after a different film than the one it parodies. In the historic episode Unforgiven of Season 7, Rick finally located Rick Prime and exacted gory retribution. It examined the idea that seeking revenge doesn't resolve any issues, much like Unforgiven itself. Violence can actually be so disheartening that the victim feels worse after exacting revenge than before. Since they have now narrated their own version of Eastwood's revisionist masterpiece twice, it is obvious that Rick and Morty's writers are huge fans of Unforgiven. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.